Hello. We are discussing very interesting stories about the thinkers, about the beliefs of that time in 600 BC and 600 Christian era. We are discussing about the different types of buildings we have discussed. Finally, yesterday we left the topic at Amaravati Stupa, which is a very elaborate and a very beautiful piece of architecture of that time. But unfortunately, due to the climatic changes and because nobody cared about such a beautiful heritage, so we received it, we got it in the form of remains and ruins. However, we got it in the form of ruins, but our own local ruler, he took the stones out very carelessly. The head of the sculptures was taken out, the other parts of the body were taken out. Just they thought it just as stones, not as a part of the culture, not as the part of an art. And the local ruler, one of the local ruler at that time, he built his palace. So many parts were then destroyed, and after that, like when Sanchi Stupa was to be taken care of, the credit for protecting this heritage goes to the Nawabs of Bhopal at that time, Sultan Begum and Shah Jahan Begum. But to protect the Amaravati Stupa, no such initiative was taken by anyone. And the Britishers, they were not concerned about anything, about any heritage of India. Why they will be concerned of it when India was not their country? Actually, they had never seen all these things. And Britishers, they were very much confident, they were very much aware about their own existence, about their own art and architecture. They had only seen the Greek gods. And in the history channels, or if you are interested in preparing for your competitions, you must have read or seen in the history channels how the Greek gods or the Greek sculpture is shown. It is just in the form of human being, like we are there, female figure or a male figure standing like this, standing like this. So these are very simple figures for them. But when they came to India, when they saw different types of figures, different types of sculptures, they saw Indian gods having many hands, they saw the Narsimha avatar of Vishnu. One part is of a lion and the other part is of a human being. When they saw the image of Ganesha, so the face was, the structure was of an elephant, and the other part of the body was of a human being. So first of all, they were scared, and later on they came to know the art of carving, the art of working with the stone. At Mahabalipuram, at Kailashnath, they saw different type of architectural facts. So then they realized that it is a new form, and that is why they were interested to take it to their own countries, to decorate their own museums and to decorate their own gardens. This is what we have discussed when we were doing Sanchi Stupa, that they wanted to take away the eastern gateway. And thanks to Shah Jahan Begum and Sultan Begum, that Shah Jahan Begum asked them to get it made in plaster of Paris and then take its copy and not the original form. So no such effort was made to protect the Amaravati Stupa. So Amaravati Stupa, we have the remains only. We cannot visit that site in a particular manner that we get all these things. Anyhow, whatever buildings, because now we are talking of buildings and the other types of sculptures and the findings, the motifs of that time, which give us a very good knowledge about Buddhism, about Jainism and about the other beliefs at that time. So when we look at, and when the historians look at the images, when they look at the buildings that were constructed at that time, in fact there is no image of Buddha, because Buddha's images were made, they were built later, when Buddha got Nibbana. After that his images were made. So there are no images as such. And in all the buildings where Buddha's image should be there, like he was giving enlightenment to the others, he was preaching his disciples, instead of Buddha there is empty place. And as far as some of the buildings are concerned, there are empty places for Buddha, And there are three main symbols: the symbol of tree, the symbol of a stupa, and the symbol of a wheel, that is chakra. So Britishers, they were in the tendency of loot. Just take out the things. As yesterday we discussed that in 1854, Walter Elliot, he distributed the things from the Amaravati Stupa. He distributed the marbles and the stone to different places. Some were taken to the Asiatic Society of Bengal. Some were taken to their own countries. And they were named as Elliot marbles. And we also discussed yesterday that H.H. Cole, he called it a suicidal for India because India's heritage was taken over. So in most of the buildings, we see the gateways. Gateways have scrolls, and scroll, on both the side there are scrolls which can be opened, which can be turned to open it. So scrolls are there, and they are rightly called the Charan Chitra. This is your 1 mark question. Charan Chitra. So there is a story of a prince, that he was a prince, but after he adopted Buddhism and he got through the teachings of Buddha, he left his worldly house, he left his worldly life, and with his wife and children, he went to the forest and started living over there. So this incident, there is a scroll, this is called Charan Chitra, and this is taken from Vasanta Jataka stories. Then we have the symbols. I told you no image of Buddha is there. There is a symbol of tree, and so many trees have been shown, and trees are symbolic. Symbolic means they say something. They represent prosperity, that spreading of trees, that is spreading of Buddhism far and wide. So trees have been shown. In most of the buildings, there is peepal tree, because it is according to the hagiographies, because hagiographies, I told you, the biographies of the saints. They related these stones with because stones have inscriptions. Historians and the philosophers, they are not able to decipher it, and it is very difficult to decipher. So they kept the stone images, they kept the hagiographies before them, and they related the events with them, like I told you the story of a prince. Similarly, the trees, they signify the prosperity, the spread of Buddhism far and wide, as well as Buddha teaching his disciples under the peepal tree. So there are a number of images of peepal trees have been shown. Correct. Then there are images of stupas. Stupas directly related to Nibbana. That is, because Buddha, he believed in Nibbana, that is, in Hinduism we call it moksha, and doing all the good deeds. He was teaching compassion to the people. Compassion, a soft corner for the people, a compassion towards nature, a compassion towards non-killings, a compassion towards the society. So compassion was taught, and all the other teachings of Buddha. For this they have shown trees, and stupa represents the Nibbana, that is in Hindu mythology it is called Nirvana, that is moksha. And the third one is the wheel, chakra, wheel, that is sermons given by Buddha to his disciples, like sermon at Sarnath. Sarnath is very famous for that. I told you that Ashoka stationed a pillar, he erected a pillar over there after 200 years of Buddha, that he visited the place where the first sermon was given by Mahatma Buddha when he got enlightenment. So these motifs are there. There is a motif of Shalabhanjika. 1 mark question again. Shalabhanjika, a lady tree. It is a motif. A lady tree. Shalabhanjika. A tree, and with the tree the lady is coming out. That is representing the prosperity, because we discussed that with the bhikkhus later on, women, bhikkhunis were also included in Buddhism, although there was not a certain particular place for women in Buddhism. But later, because of Ananda, who was a great disciple, the favorite disciple of Mahatma Buddha, he asked him to include women in the sanghas. So a bit portion that goes to women, otherwise there was no place for women. Then we also come through certain images of elephants, because elephant, according to hagiographies, elephant signified strength and wisdom. Strength and wisdom. It is signified by the motif of elephant. And then there is one more image that is related with the Gaj Lakshmi. Like today we have the goddess Lakshmi in Hinduism. So that was Gaj Lakshmi. Gaj Lakshmi, Gaj is elephant, Gaj Lakshmi, that is a lady, a beautiful lady, and she is surrounded by the elephants, and the elephants are sprinkling water on her as Abhishek. They are sprinkling water on Gaj Lakshmi. Right? There is another reference of a lady that is represented in the Jataka stories, that she is represented as whatever she touches, that comes out to be even if she touch a rock, that will become a green tree. So that is prosperity. That signifies no superstitions, no blind faiths, but prosperity and elaborate religion, prosperity among the people, spreading of religion, spreading of Buddhism. So there are elephants shown in the figures, and there are serpents. Serpent, a number of images of serpents have been discovered, and these serpents maybe they were to be worshipped, because Buddhism stressed on, and Jainism also, both the religions, they stressed upon non-killing, because we discussed earlier that they were against the sacrifices, they were against the different types of sacrificial methods that were prevailing in the Hindu society, in Hinduism. One more person, we cannot forget to mention his name here, that is James Ferguson. He also wanted to study all these things, wanted to go through the history of this time, 600 before Christian era, but he could understand nothing. He was confused, he could get nothing of it. He just got through the two things, that is the serpent and the elephant, and the trees also, except that he could not understand the philosophy, he could not go through, although he was a very intelligent, a very important philosopher of that time, and we come through his name many times, James Ferguson, but after watching all these complex and philosophical things, he could not understand anything. Tomorrow, we will discuss about one more faith that prevailed in India at that time, that is Brahminical reaction. Tomorrow, we will dwell upon the topics as avatars, that is incarnations of God on earth. We will learn about Vaishnavism and Shaivism. We will learn about the cave architecture in India, the temples at Mahabalipuram, the Kailashnath temple, the images of different deities, the different incarnations that they took, and moreover as a saviors, because after when it was at the end, Buddhism, it was divided into two vehicles, a larger vehicle called Mahayana and the smaller vehicle that is called Hinayana. We will discuss, we will dwell upon these topics tomorrow with new enthusiasm and with a new energy. Till then, go through all these topics, and a very goodbye from me.